I hope today is treating you good. Today I'm going to show you how to create some passive income using stocks, such as through a platform called Robinhood. It's one of the easier ones to start off with if you're not familiar with buying and selling stocks. It's one of the easier programs that I found to use. One of our clients had asked how he can create some passive income to pay his $600 automobile payment using dividend paying stocks. Now, I know a lot of people will use real estate and such like that to create passive income. One of the other ways is to create dividends through stocks. Now, stocks, as a disclaimer, they go up and down in price, so you really have to do your research. But I'm just going to show you one example today of how that can be accomplished. Now, before we get started, one of the disclaimers that I like to use is that, you don't really want any stocks to be heavy in your basket. What I mean by that is you want to diversify some of your stocks, even your dividend paying stocks. But just for the sake of argument today, I'm going to show you one stock that will create, passive income through dividends and how to utilize that. That stock is called UAN or CVR Partners. And so if you can see my screen here, I'm on the Robinhood site. All you have to do is just create an account with them. I think they only require like $5 to get started. There will be a link down below if you would like to get started with them. We'll both get a free stock. I like free stock. I'm not really partnered with Robinhood. However, I like free things. I'm sure you do too. So this stock is called UAN. It's trading right now for $86.65. Today is Wednesday, July 12th. It's about 11:45 Pacific Standard Time. So today this stock has gone up by 54 cents, just what it's showing right now. You could do a little bit more research through Robinhood and figure out exactly what, by week, by month, 3 months, a year, 5 years, what the trend is doing. For the sake of argument for right now, we're just going to be looking at the prices for today. Now, one of the other things that I like to do as far as getting the dividend history, what that means is, obviously we want to stick with a stock that is going to pay out dividends on, on a regular basis, not one that's going to kind of jump around too much. So all I'm going to do is search for UAN dividend history. That's going to bring me up in the NASDAQ website. So once we're on there, we'll be able to see the UAN dividend history and what their payout has been. This will also give you some more information as far as the declaration date, the record date, and their payment dates. So what I'm looking at here is just their history of payments. Now what they're expected is $41.72 annual dividend. That equates to 48.45%. Now obviously there's going to be some leeway with that, so just kind of keep that in mind. But what I'm more interested in looking at is not necessarily what they're projecting, but what they've done in the past. So what have they done in the past as far as paying out to their shareholders? So if we look at just so far this year, they've paid out in May, and the payment date was 5/22. They paid out $10.43 a share. Back in March 13th, they paid out $10.50 per share. So all of that means, if you're not familiar with dividends, is if you held onto one stock of this and you purchased this before March 3rd, and you held onto it the whole time, you would have $20.93 paid out to you in dividends. Now that's not bad, especially considering that the stock itself is trading right now for $86.65. So just to kind of give you an example of what the customer would need, to bring up, my handy dandy calculator here. All that this means is their payment was just shy of $600. So he said, how can I make my payment of $600 a month? And all we're going to do is times that by 12. So that gives us a $7,200 annual payment that he needs to bring in dividends to make that annual payment. Now, if I know that they're trading at approximately, if we go back to the NASDAQ, if we go back to the NASDAQ, we know that they're projected at $41.72. It looks like they've been paying out pretty regularly to their members. Of course, all the stocks, especially the ones that were paying dividends, kind of slacked off during COVID. That's to be expected during a global pandemic. But shortly after that, it looks like they got right back on track and started paying back their dividends to the shareholders. That's a good sign to see. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that $7,200 that the client needs to make annually, and I'm going to divide that by the $41.72 of the annual dividends. Okay, so we're going to divide by 41.72. That gives us 172.58 shares that is needed. So I'm just going to round that number off to 173. Okay, that makes our math easy. Now, if we go back to Robinhood, we see that this is trading at $86.65 right now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 173 shares that I need, and I'm going to times it by that $86.65. That gives a grand total of, let's say, $15,000 to play it safe. So $15,000, if he invested $15,000 into this stock, then it would pay out in the amount of the $7,200 annually that he needs to make his car payment. Now, the great thing about this is as the stock goes up in price, then he's going to increase that way as well as far as his profit goes. The other great thing about this is that after he gets done paying off his car, he still has that dividend coming in, but he no longer has the car payment. So he just increased his annual budget by $600 a month. Now, the next question that you may have is, how do we purchase this stock through Robinhood? Now, obviously, I'm on a web browser here and not necessarily a mobile device, but it works pretty much the same way. What I recommend people to do is obviously you have to link your account, your bank account, and what have you to Robinhood so that you can transfer over funds. Robinhood, I will put this in there, has made it very easy for me. I started off using Robinhood. They've made it very easy in order to transfer money back and forth from the bank account to their platform in order to trade. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look at the buy UAN. So if I bring it down, what I usually do is limit order. And the reason why I do this is because if you do the limit order, you get to set the price. So let's say, like right now, it looks like it might be on a downtrend. So let's just say I don't want to pay $86.65 per stock. I want to only pay $86.55 per stock, or whatever the amount is that you want. Then you will take how much your buying power is, and then you'll put in the number of shares that you want. So assuming that he wanted, a total of, 173 stocks, he's going to put that amount in the shares of how many he wants, and then you get to put in how many trading hours. So do you just want it to be in the market hours? Do you want the extended hours? Where do you want that to fall that they're going to look for that? The next thing is when do you want this to expire? So for, do I want it to be until today? Do I want it to be, until October 10th, until I cancel it? How long do I want to wait to purchase those shares? So what that means is if the stock does not drop down to $86.55, it's not going to purchase it until it does. So all that means is that it's going to be sitting there kind of pending or in queue until the stock drops down that much, if it ever does. So I usually don't put it in there for more than a day or so. That way, if the stock doesn't drop down in my allotted time, it automatically cancels it and I can go in and change it. And then once you do that, you just go to review order and then submit the order, and then it's going to put it in the queue and wait for it to drop down. Once it drops down, it'll purchase it automatically for you, or it'll purchase however many stocks are available at that price. So what that means is if you've put in that you want to purchase 173 shares, but it's only been able to find 70 shares at that price, it'll purchase the 70 shares at that price. And then you may have to go back in and up your price a little bit the next day or something in order to purchase the rest of the shares that you need. I hope this video has been helpful for you. We appreciate your time. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Robinhood has been very fair to me. I know that they have some new programs that they've come out with as far as, paying when your money is just sitting there and you're not utilizing it. They have an investment program for that. There's a couple of different things that they're coming out with. I suggest if you're looking into getting your feet wet in stocks, check out Robinhood. They're a good program. They're a good platform to get started with and get your feet wet. They make things pretty simple and not at all confusing. Again, I will post at the bottom. There will be a link for you to get a free stock. Again, I'm not partnered with Robinhood, but it's open for everybody. Once you get the Robinhood app, you can share that with people and you can get a free stock as well that way. But good luck to you out there. Hope this answered any questions that you have. Hope to see you next time.